Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I am Chad. I'm the Reseller Rockefeller. Today is December the 12th. It is Thursday. If you're new to the channel, I am a full-time reseller. I go to yard sales, I go to estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, and I find items that I can resell and make a profit. So if you're into reselling, if you are a reseller, and you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I just moved into my new warehouse. It's been a really long time since I uploaded my last video. Long story short, I bought a house about 18 months ago, way out in the country in North Florida, kind of like in a rural area, and I didn't have really good internet, and it just turned into a really, really bad situation. I kept losing internet. So anyways, long story short, I no longer live in that house. We ended up putting that house on the market, and I'm back into my new warehouse. So I have internet. I'm going to be able to upload more videos, make more content. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Today's video, we're going to kind of be all over the place. I'm going to show y'all the new warehouse in a little bit. I'm also going to show you some items that I picked up over the course of the past weekend or two. I picked up some pretty cool items. Right now, I'm packing and shipping some orders. I'll actually show you one of the items that I'm shipping out right now. So right now, I'm packing and shipping this router. It's really heavy. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to probably, I don't know if I'm going to double box it or not right now, but anyways, I'm in the process of packing this. I just had to go get some more styrofoam. And I have a local spot that I go all the time and get styrofoam. This company throws away really good, clean styrofoam almost every single day. This is something that I talk about a lot on my channel, being resourceful, making sure that you're not spending unnecessary money on stuff that you can get for free. Obviously, I'm not telling somebody to go and spend 2 to 3 hours rummaging through dumpsters. That's a waste of time. But when you have a location and a place that you can consistently get good packing material, it can really help you and benefit your business, especially as a reseller. I use styrofoam and stuff like this all of the time. So anyways, if you're new to the channel, go check out some of my older videos. I talk a lot about getting free packing and shipping materials, so go check those videos out. I just finished that box up. Packed it pretty well, put a lot of styrofoam. When you're shipping like heavy items, usually I like to use styrofoam. I don't like to use, just regular like packing peanuts, because heavy items, if it's jostled or dropped, which you can almost guarantee it's going to be dropped at least a few times, the packing peanuts will just, they'll break down and they won't support the item, and the item will start to move around. So if you're shipping something that's extremely heavy, or even halfway heavy, 30 pounds, 20 pounds, something like that, use as much styrofoam as possible. Anything that's harder than, packing peanuts. So anyways, I just got this one done. It took me a little longer than I expected. Probably took me right around 10 minutes, maybe a little over. But that one's ready to go out. And this one actually sold on Facebook Marketplace. So for all of you resellers, if you're not utilizing Facebook Marketplace as a platform to sell on, you definitely need to do it. I've been actually working hard, putting items up on Facebook Marketplace, offering shipping. In the past couple of months, I have really seen a tremendous boost in sales on Facebook. I've been shipping out a couple of items a week. It's not, nothing substantial, but those, couple of items a week actually add up. So you need to make sure that you're utilizing all of the platforms that you're comfortable with using. I wouldn't jump on a platform unless you have done your research and you've become familiar with the platform and how to use it and how to protect yourself. So make sure you do that before you sell on any platform. Alrighty, so while I pack this next item, I want to share a story with you. This is for all of you that hate to hear me ramble on or talk about stuff that's unnecessary, or maybe it's not educational. I think everything that I say is educational. I think anybody that doesn't want to hear like normal stuff from a person, like another human, if you're just looking for like straight content that revolves around nothing but reselling, and you're looking for like direct answers, or you're looking for like direct examples, I think that's stuff that you should pay for, like guides. There's plenty of resellers that are pushing out, reseller guides and how-tos and this, that, and another. And those are the types of resellers that you should be following. Myself, I talk about all kinds of stuff. I share stuff that have to do with reselling. I talk about stuff that doesn't have to do with reselling. In general, I look at reselling as, as more than just a job, more than just a business. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life. You could call it either or. And it's more to me. It means more to me than just like a business. I do this for more than just the money. I do it because I have a passion in buying and selling items and finding cool items and treasure hunting and all that good stuff that comes along with being a reseller. So anyways, I'm going to share a story with you. This just happened this past weekend. I went out to estate sales, and hopefully you can't hear the noise of me packing this item. But anyways, I went out to an estate sale. I got to it at about 8:50. I think the estate sale started at 9 o'clock. I noticed that I was the only one at this estate sale. Normally, there's multiple resellers at estate sales, especially in my area. If an estate sale starts at 8 o'clock, usually resellers and people looking to get into the estate sale will show up at 7:30. But for some reason, I got to this estate sale and nobody was there. So I was immediately pumped up, excited. I was going to be the first one to go inside this house and find all of the goodies. So you immediately get that nervous / excitement feeling. You want to make sure that you have everything, make sure you have all your money. I wanted to make sure that I had my loop, which is a jeweler's loop, so I can look at, jewelry and things of that nature. So anyways, I get out of the car, I go up to the front door, they say I'm going to open the door at 9. Once I talked to the gentleman, I realized that it wasn't a company ran estate sale. This estate sale was private. The family was the ones that were selling off the items. There was nobody that worked for a company or anything of that nature. So I was immediately more excited. And so 9 o'clock came, they opened the door, and I walk into this house. And right when I walk in, I immediately see a couple of items that I want. There was a Nintendo NES, there was a Super Nintendo, a GameCube, and then a few games and controllers and stuff. And it was basically sitting on top of a table that was right next to the television. So I basically put all of those items into a box, and I said, I'll take all of these items. They had price tags of like $1, $2, $3, and I think one of the systems, I think it was the GameCube, said $5. So I put all of those items in a cardboard box, and I set them down, and the lady's like, oh, wow, okay, you're going to buy all of those items? And I said, yes, ma'am, I'm going to buy a lot of stuff. Hopefully we can make a deal. I'll just make a pile, and we can go from there. And she said, oh, okay. Now, I'm going to add that over the years of being a reseller, I have realized, for some reason, I quit packing this order. When I start talking, it just seems like I go down this rabbit hole. But anyways, over the years, I have realized that if you're really excited, or if you move in a very fast, professional manner when you're at like an estate sale or even a garage sale, different people. So certain people take it that, oh, this guy knows what he's doing, and they're okay with it. But then there's some people that look at it and they automatically think like, oh, this guy's like a professional and he knows what he's doing. And some people look at it and they kind of get, I don't know if they get upset or if they get, I'm not really sure. I'm not a psychologist or, I can't read their minds, their feeling. But it seems to me that some people get almost to the point to where they're like, okay, I need to charge more for these items, or I need to slow this guy down. He's buying too much, or something of that nature. So basically, I just started grabbing stuff. I mean, I literally, within 10 minutes, I had about $100 worth of stuff, and I didn't even make it like through the first 2 rooms of the house. Now, at this point, it's probably been about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and a couple of other people come, rolling through the front door. And right when I seen that a couple of people started to show up, I realized, okay, I need to stop messing with all of these items. Even though I was finding stuff that I'm going to be able to resell and make a profit, I knew that my time was worth more if I needed to go to the higher end items. I talk about this in other videos all the time. I immediately knew, okay, there's going to be other resellers. Let me get to the jewelry section and really find out if there's anything really of value in this house. So I go to the jewelry section, and immediately I start seeing a bunch of gold. They had bracelets, rings, necklaces, charms, pendants, brooches, cameos, tons and tons of little pieces of gold, jewelry. When you see this much gold and you see the prices that they had on some of the items, you already know that there is a lot of money to be made, but you don't really know exactly how much money you're going to make. But you don't want to get in a situation where another reseller comes walking up and they're able to grab items. So basically, you have to immediately jump on the deal, right? And this is when, experience and knowledge comes into play. Most resellers, especially if you're new, if you don't really know what you're looking at, you wouldn't really know how to handle a situation like this. You would get flustered, you would get confused, you would make a mistake. You have to be able to jump on situations and you have to be able to capitalize on situations like this. So I immediately look at the lady. It was an older lady. She was probably in her 80s. And I immediately just, with a very calm tone of voice, I say, "Hey, ma'am, what's your name?" She told me her name. She said, "My name is Glenda." I said, "Hey, ma'am, my name is Chad." I shook her hand really politely, really soft. I said, "Look, I'm a buyer. I'm really interested in buying all of your gold and maybe all of the silver items that you have." And I said, "Would you be interested in working out a deal if I were to buy all of it?" And I said, "I understand that you're having an estate sale. You're going to be able to sell some pieces today, but you might not sell it all. You have an opportunity right now to sell all of it to me, cash money in hand right now." And she said, "Yes, we need to sell as much as possible. My sister just passed away." And she told me her story. I'm not going to share the story on the internet, but she told me the story, and I basically worked out a deal to buy all of the gold and all of the silver. Now, at this point, I secured a deal. Obviously, the deal wasn't finalized, but I secured a deal for all of the gold and silver. Within a few minutes, I had maybe four dealers at that table trying to buy the gold pieces and trying to ask, "How much is this? What is this?" And immediately she just said, "I'm sorry, this gentleman is buying all of the gold and he's buying all of the silver." So I knew at this point I had the deal sealed. All I needed to do was kind of evaluate what I had, come up with a price, and negotiate. Now this can be the hard part, especially when you're dealing with gold and silver, because most people, I don't typically carry my gold testing kit everywhere I go. Sometimes I'll have my testing kit with me, but most of the times I don't. This day, I didn't even have a scale. So I basically had to kind of just use the years and years of knowledge that I have to determine if this was actually going to be a good purchase or not, if I'm going to be able to make money. I basically just used every little bit of knowledge. I just started to count how many pieces. I started to look at her prices, and I basically made two piles. And I added up all of the items that she had priced, and I basically said, okay, this is the price that you have if I were to buy it all at exactly what you have on the price tag. What kind of deal are you willing to work for this pile? And the reason that I split all of the jewelry up into piles was because I figured if I'm going to negotiate, it's best to negotiate with the items that I'm not that interested in. So there was a few pieces of gold that really wasn't that valuable. It didn't have a lot of weight. There wasn't any precious stones. And therefore, if for some reason she put a higher value on that pile of gold, I would immediately say, okay, what if I don't take these items? How much for these items? It's just a negotiation tactic that I use. So you need to, these are all things that obviously some of you are going to know. Lots of you are not going to know. But these are things that you're just going to learn and you're going to master over the course of years and years of reselling. So I basically split all of the jewelry up into little individual piles, and I kept the 3 or 4 piles of really, really nice items that I really wanted closest to me. And so after negotiating, I ended up buying all of it. But if the opportunity would have came and I would have had to negotiate and get rid of some stuff, I would have gotten rid of the items that I wasn't that interested in, if that makes sense. So anyways, I ended up buying quite a bit of gold and quite a bit of silver. And I want to tell this story. The reason that I wanted to tell this story was not just because it's an interesting story, but it's because of the conversation that I had with 2 other resellers after the estate sale was over. So basically, I ended up buying a bunch of gold. I spent just over $1,200. And at the end of the estate sale, I go out to the car. I put all of my gold up. I put all of the items that I purchased into my vehicle. And then I go back into the estate sale to do one last walkthrough. I do this all the time at estate sales just to see if I missed anything. And while I was doing this last walkthrough, a couple of resellers walked up and they said, hey, you missed so much stuff, because I had already told them that I was the first one there. And they walked up and they said, man, you missed so much stuff. How didn't you not see this? And they kept showing me a bunch of items that I missed. And I was like, yeah, I missed a few items, but I mainly went after the gold and the silver, and I wanted to make sure that I sealed the deal on those items. So yeah, I gave up a few items because I wanted to make sure that I got to the gold table, because I knew that people were going to come in and they were just like, yeah, I don't understand it, this item. And they just started bragging and talking about how valuable the items they found. I think one of them found like a really old board game that he paid like $5, and he said it was going to sell for like $100. He had a few other odds and ends that were pretty decent items. The other gentleman had an antique lantern, probably from the early 1900s, late 1800s. And he told me that he paid like $10 and it was going to sell for like $250. Really good stuff. Those were definitely items that I would have purchased, but I kept trying to explain to him that, I spent $1,200 on a bunch of gold and silver, and they basically just didn't understand how much money that is. They don't understand how much money there is to make when you're talking about gold and silver. In reality, I only bought, a couple of handfuls, but when you really look at it, and if you know jewelry, I'm going to make, $4,000 or $5,000 profit. So I'm trying to explain this to him, and the one guy keeps telling me, jewelry just isn't my thing. I know silver, and I know jewelry markings, but I just don't understand how you can look at an item and tell if it's real these days. There's so much fakes out there. Everything is fake, this, that, and another. Probably a lot of the stuff you bought is fake. And I'm just like, no, I've been in the business too long. I know what jewelry looks like. I know how to identify gold without testing it. There's things that you can learn. I understand that you don't have a lot of knowledge in jewelry, but as a reseller, you need to learn so that when you go out to yard sales or estate sales and you find an item, if the item's real, you're able to jump on that deal if it's actually, if it's priced right. And they just act like they don't care, they don't understand it. And this is something that I talk about all the time on my channel. You have to, it doesn't matter what you deal in. I know plenty of resellers that deal in mainly antiques, right? All they buy and sell is antiques. But they are knowledgeable enough to identify gold and silver. If they're at a yard sale and they see a gold bracelet and they pick it up, they're not going to look at it and be like, oh, I don't know what it is. I can't buy it. It might be fake. It might be, I don't know. That's the thing, is you have to, as a reseller, it's your obligation to kind of educate yourself just enough so that you can find these items if they present themselves at yard sales or estate sales. I tell people this all the time. It's one of the most important things. And so for everybody watching, if you don't know anything about jewelry, if you don't know anything about certain items or certain categories or niches, learn a little bit. You don't have to become a master person to look for jewelry, or you don't have to become a game expert to understand some of the big game titles that you should be keeping your eyes out for. You don't have to become a clothing expert to understand if Burberry is worth buying or not, or Louis Vuitton, or things of that nature. It's just teaching yourself enough to become somewhat deadly in that niche, right? If I see gold, I can identify it. If I see Burberry or clothing items or anything within any niche, hopefully that makes sense to you out there. Hopefully, if you're watching, that makes enough sense to actually get you to learn a little bit about each individual niche or category, and you become a overall better reseller at the end. That's how I've always taught myself. I've learned a little about a lot. Every little thing I've taught myself a little about. If I go out and I buy a tape gun at a garage sale, I'm going to bring this gun back to my house or my office, and I'm going to do research. And I'm going to figure out what tape guns are worth the most money. I'm going to figure out what tape guns sell the most. What should I be looking for? Does the green ones sell better than the red ones? And I'm going to become very familiar with tape guns. So therefore, when I'm at my next garage sale or thrift store or flea market and I come across another tape gun, I'm going to be able to immediately identify if that tape gun is worth buying to resell. So it's just that simple. Anyways, I'm going to finish up packing this order. I just got to talking. I rambled on for 15 minutes. Anyways, I'm going to finish packing this up, and then I'm going to show you some items that I picked up at this same estate sale this past weekend. Alrighty, if you made it this far in the video, then you obviously care to watch my videos, and you obviously want to see what the new warehouse looks like. If you've been following my channel, I have had multiple warehouses over the past couple of years. And anyways, I'm at a new one now. This place is a lot smaller than the old warehouse that I had, but it's still usable. It's efficient. It does what it needs to do. It gets the job done. But anyways, I'm going to give you a quick tour, and then we're going to take a slight look. I know this video is already kind of a little longer than I expected it to be. We're going to take a slight look at some stuff that I picked up from estate sales this past weekend. So let's go ahead and start the tour right here. Okay, so this is the garage side. This is basically, I'm standing right in front of the big garage door. Everything you see over here is all unlisted items. This is just stuff that is waited to be listed, or it's stuff that's listed locally. So basically, I just keep everything that's listed online separate and in a totally different part of the warehouse. So all of this stuff is either listed locally or it's waiting to be listed. I have all kinds of stuff. I keep a lot of inventory, and there's a reason for that. I talk about it in other videos. I like to have inventory because you never really know what could happen, or I could have a drought, or I could get injured and I not be able to source. I'm not going to go through this. I've talked about it in other videos. But anyway, so all of this stuff over here is all unlisted stuff pretty much. Lots and lots of stuff, lots of toys, lots of Legos, antiques, collectibles, watches, jewelry, clothing items, stereo equipment, you name it. Tons of guitar cases. There's actually a really good story about these guitar cases. I get these out of the dumpster all the time, and I sell them all the time. I make quite a bit of money selling these guitar cases, and they're free, 100% free, and I probably make a couple of $100 a month selling them. I just sold one yesterday on Facebook Marketplace. I have a couple of them already listed, and they sell on a regular basis. Same goes for other types of items. I'm always looking for cool stuff. I'm always looking for free stuff. I'm always looking for good deals. So anyways, all of this stuff, unlisted stuff. Everything over here, unlisted. It's kind of in a mess right now because I just moved into this warehouse within the last couple of weeks, and it's just nothing has been organized yet. So now, everything on this side of the warehouse. So this shelf right here, all of those shelving, and all of this shelving is all listed inventory. This is everything that's listed online. Those are multiple different platforms, Amazon, eBay. I have a few items listed on Etsy. I have a few items listed on Mercari. So everything you see over here, listed items. We have clothing items. We have littles. This bin system for little items really comes in handy. So basically, I think I picked this up at like a garage sale. It's made by Uline. They sell for really good money on Uline, but I picked it up at a garage sale for like $15 or $20. Pretty much every shelving unit you see in here, I purchased on the secondary market, either yard sales, estate sales, or on Facebook Marketplace. My favorite shelving units are these, the metal kind, and then they usually come with the particle board shelving unit pieces. But what I do is I go to Home Depot and I buy a sheet of plywood, and I get them to rip it into 4 pieces, which come out to be 2x4, which is perfect for these shelving units, and it makes it a lot sturdier. You can really put a lot of weight. Some of these shelves have like a couple 100 pounds sitting on it. So, I mean, I love these shelving units. I buy these anytime I get a chance. Also, I like the industrial kitchen shelving units. These would be in like a restaurant or something. I love those because they're big, they're sturdy, and they can hold a lot of weight. So anyways, down here, all of the bins, this is all clothing items. So basically everything that's a clothing item usually gets put inside of a bin that has a like an S7, it's labeled. Other clothing items that are not bin worthy, like big jackets, things like that, trench coats, they go on the clothing racks, and obviously there's no real organization with that. I just have to look for the item when it sells. All of this stuff is just, random items that I just picked up, and basically I'm lazy, and when I come into the front door, I basically just put the items on the table. So anyways, like I said, everything over here is all listed. All of these electronic items, those are all listed. And we'll take a look at a few items that I picked up at estate sale. So at this estate sale, I got 5 boxes full of vintage, old, new stock, and also used radio and ham radio repair items. So basically these are like resistors, capacitors, tubes, things like that, and all of it is new old stock. A lot of this stuff is from the 50s and 60s. This is 1965, and these are all really good items. I've already sold a few of them. I already listed. This is what I've listed so far. So basically I've been just trying to find if I have multiples of the same item. So like this is a diode. I've already sold like 4 of those. I listed 60 of them, and I've sold 4 of them in the past couple of days. And I think they sold for like $12.99 a piece. And we're talking about a very small item that ships very, very cheap, very easy to pack. These are also, I think these are crystal diodes. I got these little micro switches. I got just all kinds of littles that are for repairing ham radios and radios. So I bought all of this stuff at that same estate sale that I purchased the jewelry at. The funny thing is to go right along with the story that I told you guys earlier, these resellers passed up this stuff. This stuff was sitting, and after I went and put all of my stuff in the car, I went and did another walkthrough to look and see if I missed anything, and sure enough, in the garage was 4 boxes full of this stuff. And I asked the lady, how much is this stuff? And she said, I will give you a great deal. Just get all of it out of here. I asked her a few questions about whose, items were they. She said it was her grandfather. I think that's what she said. Either her father or her grandfather. He repaired radios and ham radios. And he did a little bit of electrical repair on just other types of items, but most of it was radios and ham radios. And he did it for, I think she said somewhere around like 40 years. And this was just all kinds of stuff that was in the cabinets and drawers of his little workshop. And I bought it all. Every box was $5. So it was $5 a box. I ended up buying all of this stuff for $25. And I've already made, I think I sold 4 of those. So I've pretty much made my money back already. And I still have all of this stuff. I did find some pretty cool items within these items. I was digging through one of these little cans, and I found 2 Gibson tune capacitors. I don't have it right now. I took it home actually to show my dad, but they're called Bumblebee tune capacitors, I think. I found 2 of them, and they're supposed to be worth like $200. I'm gonna have to do some more research, but as of right now, I think they're worth about $200. There is a bunch of there's just all kinds of stuff. It's so cool to go through these stuff, all of these items and figure out what it is. But I know these old new stock, switches, stuff like this, they sell for really good money. If somebody's trying to restore a radio, or a ham radio or whatever the case may be, and they need a certain part, they might need a couple of these, and they want the original items. Hey, they're going to have to buy it from somebody like myself or others on eBay. I got a lot of these. I think these are called, I can't remember what they called these. I'm pretty sure they're called dominoes capacitors because they're in the shape of a domino. But anyways, all of this stuff, really cool items. I still have a couple of little boxes that I haven't really gone through yet. Oh yeah, I'll show you something else. This is some of the items that I pulled out of the box that I'm going to have to do some research on. But this thing here looks pretty expensive just by the way it's made. I'm going to have to do some research on that. All of these, for all of you that are out there that do anything in regards to like e-waste or pulling gold out of like electronic parts, these are all gold. I'm not really sure exactly what they're worth. I think they should be worth more than the gold content, but yeah, all of these are gold. I pretty much pulled them out of the box. I'm not even certain on what they are. I don't know if they're a capacitor, a resistor, or a diode. But yeah, I mean, this is the stuff that people, you know, recycle out of old, you know, electronics, computer items. They buy those items just to get stuff like this so they can get the gold content. And I have a bunch of it, new old stock. It's just really cool stuff. This is stuff that, you know, I don't know a lot about. If there's somebody out there that's watching this video that knows more about this stuff than I am, you're probably going to be able to correct me on what these are and what they're called. I'm not really 100% sure. I haven't really done a lot of research yet on these items. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of really cool stuff like this. I don't know what this is, but it looks like it's some kind of part to a radio or something, and I don't know. Anyways, lots of really cool stuff. Hopefully, there's lots of money to be made. When it comes down to small items like this, it definitely can be a pain in the butt to sell stuff like this, especially if you don't know exactly what to call it or you know, what the official name is. But most of it has, you know, like model numbers on it. I should be able to look this up by typing in the name and the model number, but it's definitely time consuming. But hey, if that little item sells for 12, 15, 20 bucks, then it's well worth it because I got boxes and boxes full of this stuff. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video today. I know it's been a really long time since I uploaded a video, but I definitely will be uploading more content in the near future now that I'm in the new warehouse and I have internet. So thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, folks, I'm out of here. Peace.